Why do you think we've gotten this latest surge, the number of persons going to INEC offices to try and register? Why do you think we have this surge?
Well, I think first is the fact that post the EndSARS, if you remember, one of the conversations around the time for the protest was the fact that a lot of people sort of, what I call it, quote unquote, blamed young people and said you can protest but you do not vote. So after the aftermath of the street protests and all the evils that went on around that period, I think there was this interest amongst young people. So if you remember that a lot of Twitter spaces commenced post the street protest, and a lot of conversation around we need to register, we need to get our PVC, we truly need to vote, because this time around we actually need to take charge of the system by getting the right people. So that narrative has continued, and for some reason, the past couple of weeks, because, so like you mentioned, the surge, we've seen an increase in the number of people reaching out, trying to get registered, going to INEC offices to get registered. The queues, our observers also reported queues around, long queues around, people just trying to get registered. There are different things that can contribute to this. One, the situation is not getting any better. And if you think about the increase in rates of insecurity, or talk about even as simple as even availability of power supply, or students, they've been on strike, the universities have been on strike for 3 months, I'm counting. And so it seems, I think there's this fatigue and frustration amongst a lot of people. And now they are really seeing the urgency of participating in the electoral process. So there is that thing around the situation not getting better, people thinking or believing that this time around we need to vote if we really want to see a change, rather than just complain on social media. The second, I think the primaries revealed a lot of things, the party primaries. And that is because the outcome in itself may have been, we don't know how true that is an assumption, but a lot of people followed the party primaries, and people were just a bit frustrated with how monies were determining a lot of things, and the fact that there's a tendency that people may have some other candidates that they have in mind. So the primaries definitely also sparked a lot of interest, because for several weeks, different individuals were trending on Twitter, and the conversations were basically around, you know what, guys, you need to just register and vote. And the third, I think voting is becoming a culture. If you notice, a lot of celebrities have also jumped on the race or jumped into the game, advocating and calling out to their fans to register to vote, and promoting voting as a culture for young people, and say, you know what, this is our new identity. We need to get registered to vote, because that is the only time we have a say in the decision making. So there is, these are several things that could contribute to that. But largely, the more you have a younger population who are largely frustrated, the larger the tendency for this population to want to make a difference. And ordinarily, in countries like Nigeria, with high youth population, young people actually ought to and should determine the outcome of the election. And I'm hoping that the next election, beyond this interest we're seeing now, that truly this interest and this surge in people getting registered, that it translates to actual
voting.
Because if you remember, in 2018, towards the end of CVR process, there's almost this whole surge and people asking for an extension, and but 2019 came and turnout was not impressive. So I'm hoping that we keep this spirit alive and active, and we move into the elections with that. We don't get tired or frustrated along the way. Because at the end of it all, it's not just getting registered and getting the PVC.
It's about coming out
to vote on election day. That's what changes the game.
Okay, so INEC has suggested that they might be considering an extension. Do you think the electoral body should do this?
I do believe there should be an extension. Democracy is about freedom, and for me, the better way to guarantee freedom is to ensure we put in processes in place to facilitate the exercise of that freedom. And in this sense, now freedom to choose who our leaders are. It begins with registering to vote. if Nigerians are calling out and asking INEC to extend, and INEC actually can extend within the law, I believe that INEC should listen to the people and extend. But we need to also create that awareness that an extension can only be an extension for a couple of weeks. It cannot be ad infinitum because INEC needs to clean up, produce PVCs and distribute. So yes, I believe that INEC should extend because Nigerians are calling out to INEC to extend. But beyond that, we've also seen challenges in some locations and areas where some individuals could not register, not for any fault of theirs, but because of some technical glitches. So considering those complaints and experience in those regions, some locations couldn't register because of insecurity, and INEC needed to relocate or move registrations to new points. So if you look at all of these other challenges, I do believe that INEC should listen to the calls of Nigerians, especially Nigerian youth, and extend the time for the CVR.